What is this thing we found in the woods near what may have been an old homestead? About 24 inches in height and has two roughly 4-inch holes on each side. A screen on the front and rod through the top, allowing it to swing perhaps. There's a shutoff valve on the back, but no idea what it would have been attached to. The thought was it was some sort of farm equipment attachment. Any ideas? It's an evaporative cooler used to cool old single-piston engines, used from the 1890s to the 1930s. Water is either pumped or thermosiphoned through the engine and through a tube at the top, where it cascades down the screen into the basin at the bottom, releasing heat via evaporation, similar to a modern cooling tower. Some were stationary, while others powered early tractors. They came in many different sizes, and that is in excellent condition. If you find some antique engine collectors, they'll probably buy it off you. Not too many of those around anymore. What is this thing screwed into the outside of the cabinet to the left of my sink? It's made of wood and hard plastic, with a sliding door on the top, and two pieces of Velcro on the inside of the bottom. The house was built in 1930, but had a major renovation in the 1970s. It's roughly 12 inches tall and 4 inches across. My best guess is something to do with soap or towels, but I would love to know. Thanks in advance. It's a Dixie cup dispenser, a standard item in American bathrooms from 1960 to the year 2000. The Velcro helps keep the cups in, as well as separate the cup you are grabbing from the stack. But my grandmother used hers for storing plastic grocery bags. Load from the top and pull from the bottom. My father found this device when clearing out a friend's basement. He's kind of a collector of random things, and he's wondering what it is. It's made in Japan, made of metal, about 25 by 20 centimeters in size, maybe around 2 to 4 kilograms, with a handle that turns. My guess is some kind of device for fishing. We would love some clarification if anyone knows about it. It's a 1960s hand-crank drywall glitter gun. I remember that popcorn ceiling stuff would have glitter in it when it was new back in the 60s and 70s. Any place that still has popcorn stuff on it has been painted many times by now. As a kid, I thought they were tiny holes and I was seeing sunlight. What is this large wooden and plastic tool with a sliding centerpiece, 2 metal markers, various tables of numbers written all over, and came in a wooden box? This belonged to my grandfather, born in the 1930s, or to my great-grandfather, born in the 1900s. Possible engineering connection. I searched for the company name on the label. They primarily made drawing and mathematical instruments. Any ideas are appreciated. It's the Fuller calculator, sometimes called Fuller's cylindrical slide rule. It was invented in 1878 by George Fuller, professor of engineering at Queen's University, Belfast, and despite its size and price, it remained on the market for nearly a century because it outperformed nearly all other slide rules. As with other slide rules, the Fuller is limited to calculations based on multiplication and division, with additional scales allowing for trigonometrical and exponential functions. The mechanical calculators produced in the same era were generally restricted to addition and subtraction, with only advanced versions, like the arithmometer, able to multiply and divide. For scientific calculations, the Fuller remained viable until 1973, when it was made obsolete by the HP 35 handheld scientific electronic calculator. What is this metallic object found near Ballarat, Victoria, Australia? About 5 centimeters across the bottom. The central piece slides up and down and is held in place by springs within the cylindrical piece. It may have had further attachments on either side at the bottom. There are signs that the metal there has sheared. Any ideas? This is the metal latch for an antique Victorian photo album. Look at this image in this eBay listing for the best comparison. The album size is 8 by 10 inches, with 22 mounted cabinet cards inside. It was sold for $100. What is this item that comes with bulbs, ink, nibs, title cards, etc.? It has a wooden base with a metal kickstand and metal bunny ear lampshades on it. We've done an image search, but we can't seem to get an angle that would give us anything other than a fan or other unrelated device. We've also searched older Bell and Howell light stand, but no dice. Does anyone know what specifically it is called? It's a photographic device for photographing titles on motion picture films, although not limited to this use alone. And its main feature relates to the provision of a simple and effective device by means of which titles and similar subjects may be made and photographed in an effective and convenient manner. It was patented on July 3, 1928 by Albert S. Howell of Chicago, Illinois. What is this heavy metal rod? It was found in my friend's grandfather's house in Wiltshire, UK after he passed away. There are several dents on each end. Looks like it has been hit with something hard. No engraving or writing, all one piece, it does not come apart. Any ideas? It's a pestle, probably made of brass. I have a very similar one. I inherited from my grandma. It's like 100 years old. It was given to my grandmother at her wedding. It was used traditionally in Greece to crush, grind, and mix hard grains or seeds for cooking purposes. What is this thing I found while clearing out my great-grandfather's loft? I'm in the UK, and my great-grandfather is Scottish. My father and I would sincerely and genuinely appreciate any and all helpful insights or information. It's an MG-42, a German recoil-operated, air-cooled general-purpose machine gun during World War II. This thing was insane for its day and has a rate of fire that's still pretty crazy compared to today's military machine guns. This MG shot around 1,200 rounds per minute. Just the sound of this thing was extremely demoralizing and frightening to the troops expected to go up against it. They eventually started giving classes to ground troops, going into the theater just to prepare them for the sound this thing made. Its unique sound led to it being nicknamed Hitler's buzzsaw. You have an amazing piece of history. There's an auction for a more complete one that was estimated to sell for $40,000 to $60,000. What is this tool I found at a secondhand store? It's heavy, made of wood and gold color metal, and very worn feeling to the touch. The bottom is flat as opposed to the rounded top, with a very distinct texture and a hole directly in the center. It was purchased at a second-hand store in hopes it has a greater value than the purchase price. I've considered it to be a kitchen utensil, as it resembles a garlic press, but my searches have turned up inconclusive. Does anyone know what this is? Please tell us down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.